Awesome. Welcome, everybody. We are so excited to spend this time with you. We are on our Health and Hope Night for April, and we just cannot wait to share with you what health and hope means to us, as well as just give you share with you stories of success and really begin to pour out a vision for you of where you're going in your health and what you're creating. So my name is Gina Eccles, and I just wanted to say hello. I'll be sharing my story a little later tonight, but this is my partner in crime and handsome fellow,
Adam Eccles. And, we're here just to inspire y'all tonight. And it's been interesting, kind of looking back over several years ago. I remember coming home from work one night, and this partner of mine, this crazy woman of mine, my friend, my wife and spouse, mother of 7, decided that we were going to make a change in our life. And it was really interesting because, we were kind of that family that was going a gazillion directions in multiple areas of our life, from work to children to all the different things, activities. And I was like, oh my goodness, what has she gotten us into now? And really fast forward, and not only did it just transform my whole entire health, but one of the things that I found from this was, and it was actually a shock and a surprise, is that it was actually sustainable. It was something that was giving me and establishing tools in my life to really help me not just get to a healthy weight, but to keep it off. So one of the things that I always love to share is, as a daddy of 7, is I remember just the impact that it had on my physical body, but I remember the impact that it had because all of a sudden I had the ability to run and be active with my children. So it really did I always tell Gina, no, she bought my life back. She gave me inspiration to really take hold of and make changes, but she also gave me the tools to really keep the weight off. And again, be able to be a dad again, be able to run and play and actually inspire other people, other men and women, that, hey, just because we live in a society that is so crazified, so overwhelming sometimes, it doesn't mean that we don't have the skills and the tools and ability to really take personal ownership of our own health. And it's just been just an honor. So.
Well, and I want to share this because he's talking about lifelong health, and that really is what we're going to be talking about tonight, is really pursuing health at a greater level. And so when he's talking about lifelong health, he's really talking about he has utilized every tool in his toolbox. And guys, you have to pick up health every day of your life. Living a longer, healthier life is really about pursuing health at a greater level every single day. So I don't want you to think that we're going to be putting magic sauce out there for all of you and just, you get on Optavia and life is perfect. No, you're going to have to work through your stuff. You're going to have to pick up that health baton every single day, and really focus in on what you are creating long-term in your health. So now I know you just shared with everybody a little bit about what was created in your health. I mean, I don't even think you told them how much weight you lost.
I know, it's funny, 70 pounds later, and many years ago, like that is something that was really the pivotal point, is to realize, hey, again, it's the health that we're creating, but losing 70 pounds, again, it changed my life. So it's really just been amazing. So.
Well, yeah. And you look at now, fast forward several years later, he's now a full-time daddy, helping alongside me with our children and really impacting our kids. So when you say, we were able to kind of just transform our life, can you kind of just share with everybody just a little bit about what has changed or transpired over the years that has not necessarily, I mean, yes, weight loss was a piece of the puzzle, but could you just share with everybody a little bit of what changed for you over the past several years?
Well, it's interesting, Gina, because as both of us were raised in families that really didn't understand health, didn't understand how important it was, didn't have the tools, all the things, the mindset. So for me, my mom had a heart attack in her 50s. And so that was kind of in my upbringing, it was I was raised on fast food. I didn't have the tools and structure. So looking at this as more of a whole health, long-term health program. And so that really freed me up. So the baggage that I had been raised with, the background that I had, it literally, when I came to the mindset of, okay, I lost the 70 pounds, it not only transformed my physical body, but then all of a sudden I had this awakening that I could choose me, that I could choose that long-term health piece, that I could break free. And so, and then it also gave me those habits, those things that really, transformed. And as I started to do those things, all of a sudden what happened was everybody around us started asking the questions, what are you doing? I've noticed a change in you, Adam and Gina, like our whole life began to change. And so then I decided to join in and start to pay it forward with people, for people to really help transform their life. And oh my goodness, now I do this full time with my wife, Gina, which is absolutely beautiful because I finally found something that I have passion for, something that actually helps people transform their entire life, their health, their well-being, everything, all those things, all those encompassing things. And I know my son's going to share, later, cadence on this call, and he'll be sharing a little bit later. But I have to tell you, it didn't stop with us. As we decided to coach and really pay it forward, all of a sudden we realized that we translate that through our family. Like it started to really go down through our lineage of now our children want to make the impact. They want to impact other people's lives. They're focused on their health. So it really is, the coaching piece for me was the most important, powerful thing, because then I realized I had so much accountability. I'm serving people on a high level. I'm empowering people on a high level. It gave me that impact piece that I love so much, but also then began to give me the opportunity to see others do the same thing. And that was really something that it's really hard to put into words without being emotional about it, because I look back and said, if I hadn't made that decision, again, it was all encompassing of like, hey, I'm getting healthy now, I'm helping other people, I'm accountable, it's blessing me, it's pouring into me, all the things. And so I'm just so grateful for that.
Well, and I think one of Adam's biggest drivers, honestly, is making a difference in the world. Can you guys hear that in his voice? Like making a difference and impacting others. And yes, that translates through our family, and really our family call is to make a difference in the world. But what we've seen happen is that is also translated through our clients, through our coaches, and through our leaders that we work with. And so it's just been amazing to watch that as we came together and began to help others, then others began to help their friends and family. And it just made such a huge difference. So thank you for sharing with everyone your story. And so tonight, let's talk to them about the agenda and kind of where we're going with this.
So we're going to talk right now about the mindset, being awakened to the secrets of lifelong transformation, the skill set, learn how to decide to move forward in your health from people who have successfully created it. So we have people on here, obviously, that have been really good examples of that. And then some simple action steps to move you forward in your health journey to optimal health. And so we're going to start out right now by creating a poll. And so we want to ask the question of which answer best describes you right now. Number one, are you an independent Optavia coach? Are you a client or a guest?
Yeah, so where are you? So go ahead and answer the poll right now. So fun. I can't wait to see.
Yeah, there's a variety. I'm certain of a variety of people that are on here. We're excited about it.
So we want to tell you about our mentor and a dear friend, Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson. He was a valedictorian of his medical class. He trained in open heart surgery at Cleveland Clinic, 10th board certified critical care physician, surgical critical care director, Grandview Hospital, department chair of anesthesiology for 18 years, y'all. The truth is he is one cool dude who has really made a huge impact in our life. And really he cares about health at a greater capacity than probably anyone we've ever met. And one of the things that really most impressed us with, we call him Dr. A, with Dr. A, is just how passionate he is about helping others really live that longer, healthier life and just paying that forward to others.
So we want to talk statistics for just a quick minute. Worldwide obesity has nearly tripled since 1975. And most of the world's populations live in countries where overweight and obesity kills more people than underweight.
Now look at this. Look at the American statistics.
Almost a third of adults with partners, 31%, report that money is a major source of conflict in their relationship. And 69% of workers were stressed over their finances, with fully 72% admitting to worrying about their personal finances at work. And in July 2020, rates of depression and anxiety in the US were more than triple those in early 2019. The simple question, how are you, has turned into emotional mind brief. And I'll just interject this and say, I shared this real briefly. Like, if we looked at our life, the normal life that we lived as Americans, we were overstressed, overworked. We didn't spend a lot of time. We were going in a whole bunch of different directions. Again, I mentioned my mom had a heart attack in her early life. And so for us, that's a lot of what we find as Americans, and not just Americans, but around the world. We get stuck into the diagram of trying to provide for our families. We're stressed out, overweight, and suffering in our health.
And so one of the things I wanted to point out is a lot of people come to Optavia thinking weight loss. And I want to challenge that thinking today. I want you to think of whole health. And it is amazing as we looked at those numbers to think, wow, 69% of Americans are fretting over finances. So many people are desperate for not just health in their body, but health in their mind. We read about that statistic, health in their finances and health in their body. And so what I love about Optavia is that we can really bring all three into full perspective. And so how many of you have seen these books before? You know what they are, Dr. A's Habits of Health and Your Life book. These are the key for us to long-term health. And so, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about ultra health, and I want to share a little bit of my story with you guys, because I did come to this program many, many years ago. And when I came to this program, I came from a lifetime of dieting. I began my first diet at 9 years old. And that's so unhealthy as I look back, but it created some unhealthy mindsets for myself. And I rode that roller coaster for years, up, down, up, down, up, down. I tried everything under the moon. I even went to school to be a nutritionist because I thought that might help. But it turns out you have to actually do what you know, not just know it. And so when I came to this program, really honestly, a bunch of my girlfriends at my church were melting away. And I was like, dang, I have got to do something. I am on the up cycle again. So I started this program as just another diet. They told me about the books. They told me about the community. They told me about everything. I didn't hear it. I had an immediate need and I wanted to get the weight off. I jumped on board. And it was really exciting as I began to follow the system and I began to just really step into the Optavia 5-in-1 plan. It was so, I don't want to say simple, but for me, well, maybe simple is a good word. Easy probably would not be the word I'm looking for, but simple and just so structured. And what I recognized is when I was living in structure, everything seemed to flow. When I got out of structure, that tended to be that rise back up on that roller coaster where I would gain the weight. So I would live in structure, lose some weight, then I would get out of structure, gain some weight. And that's where that roller coaster came from. And so what I found was this structure was really simple for me to follow. And so I ended up losing 65 pounds on the plan, and I felt amazing. I actually got to a healthy BMI for the first time in my adult life, and I didn't even think that was possible. But what happened is this awakening started happening. So about day 10 of program, that's right, many of you watching this webinar are further along than I was. Day 10 on my program, my mom reached out to me and she said, I want in, I want to do this with you. And I love my mama, but I felt like I knew nothing. How could I help someone else in their journey when I was still figuring out my own? Can anybody relate to that? Yeah, I just was like, Mom, I can't, but why don't you call my coach? She's amazing. She'll really help you out. And my mom said, I'm too embarrassed to call your friend. I really just want to do this thing with you. Just like every other diet we've done, we didn't know what we were doing, but we did do it together. And I would love to do this with you. And I said, fine, Mom, I will help you and only you, but no one else. So if anybody asks, we're going to have to figure this out. And she giggled and said, don't worry, I'm not telling a soul. And she jumped on board. And that's when I became a health coach. It wasn't because I knew it all. I felt like I was together, that I had crammed the habits of health and knew all those. No, those were the guide. I could guide my mom to that. And I didn't have to know it all. And that was so reassuring to me. It was such a positive thing. But as I started melting away, more and more people started asking. As my mom started melting away, more and more people started asking us, how can I get healthy? Can I do what you're doing? And so we began this journey of supporting clients. And the more people who started to melt away, the more inspired our community was. And what I recognized was the structure that I so loved began to encompass people around me. And I started to realize for myself, I was going to be able to keep this weight off because I was surrounding myself with other people who were looking to be healthy too. And I was their role model. And so for me, what happened is my accountability through the program went to a whole new level. Yes, I was accountable to my coach. Yes, I was accountable to others, but now it was even more people. More people were watching. So when I went to those family barbecues, half the people at the barbecue were getting healthy. So a lean and green was super simple because everything was there. But also we were inspiring the other half of the family who wasn't healthy yet. And so that was so empowering from an accountability place, but also it came to a place where I started to embrace the books and I opened them up and I started to realize, wow, when I came to this program, I came here in a place of thinking I knew everything about health, but not realizing that I had an inappropriate relationship with food. And what I loved is through the habits of health and through the life book, I began to journal and work through some of those things and started to see, wow, I can exchange those poor habits for healthy habits. And this is going to be game changer for myself, but also for my family and not just my children, but also my extended family. And for me, I began to draw a line in the sand and just said, moving forward, generation of generation has struggled with obesity in my family. And moving forward, I want to equip my children and equip my family members with the best. And so that's where the habits of health really became a strong suit for us. And we began to really embrace that. And so yes, we did grab hold. I did start helping a lot of people in a very short period of time. As a matter of fact, I was helping so many people that I was able to walk away from some of our busyness. Like for myself, I owned a company for 17 years. I was passionate about my company, but it took up a lot of time to run. I worked about 70 hours a week. Adam worked a full-time career, plus he was a pastor. And so you know what that means as a pastor's wife, you are actually busy all the time. And did he mention we have 7 kids? 7 kids, y'all, 7. And so we were busy people. As a matter of fact, I think I have yet to meet a busier person than or couple than we were. We were going full time, pouring out, trying to make a difference in the world and still provide for our family. And so what happened is, you know, we were helping so many people while we were helping ourselves get healthy that we were able to create enough income that I was able to come home, walk away from that 17 years of pouring out and begin to pour into my family. begin to pour into the things that mattered most to me. I got to go to those baseball games. You're going to hear from my son. He was a 4-sport athlete, and I all of a sudden got to go to practices. I got to go to games. We got to travel around with him because now we could where we couldn't before. For me, the greatest gift that was provided, yes, getting healthy was super important, but the tight-knit growth that happened within our family when we were both able to come in and do this full time, my kids got a daddy back. See, he would go to work at 4 and 5 in the morning, and he wouldn't come home till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And that was the nights he wasn't at the church. Otherwise, he didn't come home until 10, 11 o'clock at night. And the stress levels from both positions were very scary. And he mentioned his mom had a heart attack. And so I was always in this place of concern for his health, concern for his heart. And what happened for us is when he came home, our kids got their daddy back. They got to have a relationship with him. They got to learn what it was like to spend time. We get to take our kids on dates and do fun things with them, take them on it. We call them adventures. Sometimes our adventure is just hiking a mountain, and other times it's playing at parks. But it's so fun to watch the relationship develop between my children and their dad.
So there are some hidden things that we didn't understand coming into this that would give us the opportunity. And so I'm over here just like so excited for the fact that some of you that are on here are going to be inspired and realize going in, like we didn't realize, like I literally thought I was coming to lose some weight. And then all of a sudden, fast forward, look at how it's really transformed our whole entire life.
So mentioning a mountain, I really want to talk to you guys about Ultra Health, because I personally believe a lot of you are like, Kate, I'm intrigued. I want to get healthy. I want to take this to the next level, but really, am I going to be able to continue to pursue health long-term? And so with Ultra Health, what happened for me is I lost my weight. I felt great. I for several years transitioned. I went through the 5-in-1 plan, through our transition over to our optimal health plan. And for several years, I lived on that. And then my son is going to share in just a minute here. But one day we were hiking up a mountain and he decided to run. Now I am very competitive. And so what happened? I just started to run right up that hill right after him. And about, I don't know, half a mile up, I was having a heart attack. Not really, not a real one, just the breathing heavy, the like, I can't keep up. And I realized while I was healthy, I had not decided to pursue health at a greater level. And so what I want you guys all to walk away with this Ultra Health plan, and you can read all about it in the Habits of Health, but with this Ultra Health plan, I was able to then change the trajectory, make a goal, read element 1. I reset, I recommitted to my health at a greater level, and moved from the optimal health plan to the Ultra Health plan, where we have been pursuing health now for quite a while, and I can keep up with my son. I can water ski. See, my goal is when I am old, and because I'm not old, although you are going to hear from my son, my goal is when I am the great grandma, my great grandkids are not going to crawl up on my lap while I sit in a rocking chair. No, we are hiking those mountains together. We are surfing the ocean together. We are running around, playing, riding bikes together. No longer a sidelined mama sitting in a chair, but that great grandma who is pursuing and chasing and having fun, living a life of adventure with my grandbabies. That's what I want. That's what I'm chasing. And what I realized with the Ultra Health plan is that I could now do that long term because I'm pursuing health for my entire body, not just looking to be thin.
And by the way, 7 kids equals a lot of grandbabies and great grandbabies. I'm just saying, like, it's going to get real, you guys.
So that's a little bit about Ultra Health. I know we've talked a little bit about these components, but Adam, why don't you share with them just a little bit about the 4 components that we embrace?
So yeah, and these are all encompassing. So what I love is that they kind of translate into one another, and not one of them is going to work without the other typically. And so what we love is, number one, as Gina just shared about our coaching journey a little bit, is that, you know, becoming an independent Optavia health coach. We have Dr. A's amazing transformational system, which Gina again shared about. And then one of the things I'd really just want to touch base on right now is our community of people. So as we've kind of found in our own personal transformation, is we look around, we've got an incredible just community around us that supports us and really helps us pursue our own personal health journey. This again, all encompassing. And then we have our amazing feelings, our tools, our, you know, make it simple, providing our clients and coaches opportunities to make it really just simple. And by the way, they're just absolutely amazing. I'm not kidding you. Like several years later, I think our pantry is full all the time. Our kids love them. Everybody loves them, all the things. So yeah.
Yeah, they have been an amazing tool that we have been able to utilize. And I want to kind of touch back on these 4 components, because again, all 4 of them, if you can think of it like 100% success. Now, I cannot guarantee you 100% success, but what I do know is when you utilize all 4, it's like each one represents 25% of your success. Good. And so if you can pursue all 4 actively and utilize all those, it's going to help you. So with that independent Optavia coach, can I encourage you, lean into them? Okay, lean in. They are a guide that is going to really just create that accountability for you. Lean in to the habits of health system. They do no good collecting dust on your desk. Okay, lean in. That's how we're going to rewrite the story for you. That's how you're going to start to recognize where you've gone a little south with your relationship on maybe with food, or maybe your habits.
You know, and they're set up to where there's, you know, there's 26 elements, right, in the life book, for example, and it's not meant to be a college course. It really is something that's going to help and benefit you. And so we just encourage you, like Gina says, lean into them, make it simple, make it understand going in that it's going to be something that's going to help you for the rest of your life.
We like to share with our clients 5 minutes a day. Everybody can find 5 minutes a day. And so can you. And then that Optavia community, like he mentioned, and of course the fuelings. So we're going to do another poll.
All right. Which of the 4 components are you able, let me hold on a second here. Let's move this out. Okay. Which of the 4 components are most valuable to you? So select all that apply.
So is it the Optavia coach? Is it the habits of health transformational system, the Optavia community, or the Optavia feelings? All right, so now we're going to let a few other people share their stories with you. So we're going to have Caden come on and share a little bit of his story. Go ahead, Caden.
Hey guys, my name is Caden Eccles, and clearly you've been able to meet my amazing parents, Adam and Gina. I actually came to Optavia, as they kind of mentioned in their story. They had struggled hard in their health and their mindset and financially. And I watched them walk through that process, but then something changed. When they got on program and as they decided to continually start to work on their health and they just began to melt away, as they stepped into coaching, I watched my parents literally become different people. Their eyes perked up. My dad mentioned the story about how he wasn't able to actually be a part of a lot of the sports that I was in because they were so busy working. But all of a sudden, I gained these parents that were able to be there. And when I looked out, I saw the huge smiles on their face because they were so happy to be there with me. But I was a 4-sport athlete, so I never really struggled with my weight. I actually always looked to put on weight because I wanted to be bigger for the sports I was in so I could perform better. I just sucked at doing it. And so as I kind of walked through that season, I realized that being a professional athlete was definitely not in my future. I actually went to college and just wanted to continually try to advance my health through fitness alone. And so I found myself kind of walking through my college years, going to the gym 6 times a week, 2 hours a day, and I began to bulk up a little bit. I really thought it was muscle. I didn't think that it wasn't fat. But as I was looking around at everybody around me, I was seeing them put on weight. You know, they talk about college. It's like you're not getting sleep, you're stressed out, and you're starting to live into some poor habits. So I was seeing people go through those same things, and I was seeing myself go through those same things. And I knew that Optavia had a system in place through coaching where I could really help people maybe take back control of those things. And so I wanted to get experience to try the 5-in-1 plan for myself so that I could empathize with my future clients. And so I decided to hop on the plan. I ended up losing 20 pounds, which, like I said, I thought that I was putting on muscle. In reality, I put on this layer of fat over myself because I had all these bad habits that I learned when I was really little that I hadn't quite fixed yet at this season of my life. And so as I hopped on plan, what I began to notice, and you guys can see the difference between the two, like here, I really just felt bulky, but in reality, I had all this muscle that was sitting underneath me. So, you know, the exercise wasn't in vain, but I had all this muscle sitting underneath me that just wasn't there because I had those unhealthy habits. And so what's been so amazing through coaching is that it's given me this community that's been there to support me every step of the way. I know for my parents, if I hadn't watched them all those years before with the community, I don't know that I would have been inspired to make that change myself. And so as I stepped into that, yeah, it really made a big difference, not only in the way that I looked, but the way that I felt. You know, in college, I needed all the mental capacity that I could so that I could perform well in school. And I didn't realize that I was missing out on so much energy and mental clarity. But after losing the weight, I started to realize that I was seeing things a little differently. I was able to actually be awake for the 7 a.m. classes that I was taking. I wasn't waking up feeling groggy anymore. And so another thing that the program taught me pretty significantly was that nutrition actually is a tool. You know, I didn't need to just go to the gym and try to outlift everything that I ate, but actually that nutrition could be super valuable for me so that I can actually make the next goal possible. And so when we talk about ultra health, I think it's really amazing that our progression isn't just linear and then we just stop once we get to our goal weight. I think it's amazing that through ultra health, it gives us multiple steps to keep progressing in the future. And those 4 components that we talk about, they don't go away. They're not just a tool for weight loss. They're actually a tool for sustainability so that you can not only get to where you want to be, to a place where you love where you're at, but it also sets you up and says, hey, I'm not done yet. My journey is not done until I pass away. And that's a long ways away. I have an entire life. And look, my parents got healthy when I'm young. I'm 25 years old. I have an entire life set up in front of me. And through our ultra health plan, I have multiple steps on that journey where I can continually progress and get to where I want to be. And so I'm just so thankful for this plan. And I'm so thankful for coaching. When I went into college, I truly had the mindset that I wanted to work for corporate America. My whole dream, I studied marketing. I wanted to work for a company like Nike. I wanted to be cool. I wanted to make cool things. I wanted to fit in. But as I watched my parents create a lifestyle for themselves, they're doing what they love. I was seeing them genuinely happy to go to work every single day. I was seeing them make an incredible impact, literally watching tons and tons of people join them on this journey and experience the same things. I began to realize that what I wanted to do with my life was super, super small in comparison to the impact that I could make through coaching. And so I decided that, you know, as I went into that during college, that I just wanted to help a few people just to even see if I even liked it. And what I found was that I loved coaching so much. I loved seeing the people around me feel as good as I did. And so what's crazy is that most going into my senior year of college, I was able to create a level of income for myself so that I no longer had to go work into corporate America. I no longer had to walk into a normal job, but I could actually use coaching as a sustainable living for myself so that I could ultimately travel or be with my family wherever they are, but create the lifestyle that I wanted to live. And it's just amazing seeing how my vision's changed because of the decision that my parents made all those years ago. So that's my story. I hope that it inspires you guys. Thank you, Adam and Gina, for letting me share.
Well, as you can see, we're certainly proud, and like, what I was saying earlier is it really did kind of translate through us. And so we're so proud of you, Kate, and thank you for sharing and inspiring. And so now we're going to go to the poll results. So which of the 4 components are most valuable to you? And we're going to post it. Oh my goodness. So you can obviously see that it's really balanced. If you look at all the different components, we talk about 25% of each really need to be applicable. And to help you be sustainable in our all-encompassing community. So it's really just impactful. Thank you for posting that.
I love it. And I want to talk to you guys now just a little bit about the trilogy wheel. This is a tool that we like to use in Optavia, because Optavia, like I mentioned before, is not just about getting a healthy body, but it really is about having a healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. You saw those statistics earlier that we shared. And so what I want you to do right now is just kind of ponder for just a moment. And so we're going to start with this healthy body section, because many of you came to this webinar with that on the forefront of your mind. And so I want you to rate yourself. And we like to do this for us. We do it every few months of, are we getting better in these areas? So in your healthy weight or your physical activity, in your healthy eating and relaxation, in your healthy sleep, and your safety and health in your work environment. Like Adam working all those hours, that was not healthy for our work and home life. And so, rate yourself, starting with a 10 being like, it could not get any better. Life is perfect. It just cannot get any better, all the way to a 1 where it's like, wow, I really need to make a change in this area. I'm desperate for a change in this area. So let's look at healthy mind. Where are you sitting on that scale of 1 to 10 with hobbies, fulfillment, community involvement, engagement at work, your spiritual time, strong relationships? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, and then those healthy finances. Again, 1 to 10, money management, community contributions, freedom, resources to create memories and experiences, abundance, save for the future. Are any of you in a place right now that you can give like nobody else because you chose to live like nobody else? Are you in a position, this to me is a 10. If you see a need, you can meet it immediately and not have it harm or impact your personal finances. How cool would that be? How cool would it be to be able to see other families that are struggling and be able to meet their need, or to see other things? Like, one of the things that's super important to us is clean water, because water is the gift of life. And so we've been able to see a need and be able to say, hey, we would really like to help in other countries create clean water options. And so and again, that's our experience. That's something we're passionate about. But where are you in those healthy finances? So the next person that we asked to share with you is Michelle, and we're going to let Michelle share with you just a little bit of her story and how Optavia has transformed her life. Go ahead, Michelle.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Adam and Gina, and for inviting me to come and share my story. I am so excited to share that with you. Well, as you were able to probably see just before, on my side, one of my side-by-sides, I actually have struggled with my weight my whole life. And similar to what Gina said, just trying everything and trying to find health, starting at, in my teenage years, and spent most of my 20s and things just trying to figure out whether it was a diet or if it was an exercise program, and just trying to figure it out. But I had definite issues with emotional eating, bad eating habits, portion control, all of these things. And I actually came to plan a handful of years ago by watching my mom melt away. She was the one that found Optavia first, and I was watching her melt away. And at the time, I was 421 pounds. And, I'm trying to find health, and I knew my life was going in the wrong path. And if I didn't make a change, I would be having some very, very significant health issues if I didn't make any changes. And so I decided one more time to hop on and came to this program because I said I knew I needed to do something. But what I loved about it was when I learned about the program and how there was a plan after the plan. And so that I knew that there were things that needed to work on my habits. And it wasn't going to be a quick fix. It was going to take some work, but I needed the structure. And so I hopped on plan, and oh my goodness, it was, having that success. It was very simple to follow and to have that structure and to go through that. And I remember I was about a month in or so, and I was just feeling like the world. Somebody had asked me, well, what is Optavia done for you? And I thought for a second, and I said, it was almost like I didn't even realize I was living with a cloud over my head. And all of a sudden I had this little, when the sunlight comes through, and all of a sudden the sunlight is coming through and saying your life could potentially be different. When you're scared of a chair that has arms on it, right? Like all these different things. And that transformation over the next, it was a good amount of time, about a year and a half or so. But I lost a total of 245 pounds. And I will tell you, this is interesting. Throughout that journey of that, I was coaching because I said I had to start right away. I said, very, very early on, I said, oh my goodness, this is the best gift ever. I have to share this with the world and do this with other people, because I just felt like it was just so amazing. And I had to share that gift. And I loved doing it with other people. But I will tell you the other piece that I didn't realize until later into my journey, about 9 months into the journey. And I said, man, this is what's helping me to stay on track, right? Is because I had added this extra layer of accountability to my own journey. I loved not only, linking arm in arms with my clients, but also like I had to be a good girl. I could disappoint myself all day long, but I can't disappoint other people. And so that really added that extra arm that I needed to be able to kind of push through, because, it's not always easy, right? Like, making those choices every day to say, nope, health is more important. And so that anything I could do to add that extra layers of accountability in my world, I was willing to do that. And I'll tell you, so another, pivotal moment in my journey was, I was down at the time about 200 pounds. I still had about 45 pounds left to go. And I can tell you, like, that was where I was feeling amazing and wearing clothes that were just so good. Anything that I hadn't been able to do before. And that is where I really, really had to start digging deep into the head, into the mind work. I remember I was asked, we had this leadership, retreat, and they were, and the question was, where do you see yourself, 1, 3, and 5 years in your health? And I remember I had to really think about that, because I said, okay, I've got about 40 pounds left. I really, really was trying to, I never wanted a doctor ever again to tell me that I was overweight. And, but I was loosey-goosey, I wasn't really, really, committing everything 100% at that time. And I had to think, and I said, what do I want? I really had to think about it. And I realized, I started reverting back to what did I like when I was a little girl? And I used to dance when I was little. And I said, you know what, I want to go. That was my first goal. I said, as that next level up, right, was to really help me to get to that next level in my health. And to get to my goal, I said, well, I wanted to have a dancer body. I said, I wanted long, lean muscles. I'm pretty tall. And I was like, that's what I want. And I need to get there. And so that really helped to push me through, to take it and to level up into my health and to get really focused again on the nutrition part, and dive into the books. That was, I have been reading The Habits of Health and on the calls and things like that, but really not putting in as much time as I should have. But I really started diving into those, and oh my goodness, it was amazing. And so when I hit my goal, and then I really started leveling up. One of the biggest, areas that I started really loving The Habits of Health. And one of the elements was in Dr. A talks about model morning and the twilight hour. So I love structure. So the 5-in-1 is very structured. And I started realizing in around that chapter, it starts to structure your 24-hour clock, right? And really making sure that you're getting your me time, because when you start thinking about when do I have time for this, and I wasn't the best at my sleep habits, and I wasn't the best at, I would stay up too late, or I would sleep in, and those types of things. And so I said, you know, this is another area in my life that I can help to improve. And so I started really diving into that. And so what I can tell you is that throughout this journey, there are so many different pieces. I love how both Kaden and Adam and Gina have talked about the journey is not done when you lose your weight. You have to continually moving it. I like to say that it's like your health is kind of like laundry. It's never done. And it's continually looking and challenging yourself. So what is next? What I needed was not only, help with my portion control and with my nutrition and things like that, but I really needed to work on the head part. And so that has been my biggest focus around of what do I need to do? And then part of that, kind of like the trilogy wheel that we just saw. So there was this health piece, there's this mind piece, there's the finance piece, there's all these things. And so what I found is if I can add some structure in all of those areas, I can continue to improve. And the other thing I'd like to be able to share with you, this just happened to me this past weekend. I went on a hiking trip, on a women's hiking trip to West Virginia. And before I mention this, so where I've been leveling it up on my physical side in the last 6 months or so is really diving in where the book talks about the NEAT, so I've just been adding a lot of walking, essentially a lot of walking and getting faster and faster with it. I have 45 minutes on my lunch break. So how far can I go? And I've just been working on walking. And so this weekend, and I love hiking on the weekends, but we had a women's weekend retreat, and we had one of the trails. It was like 821 steps just on one way down to the bottom to this abandoned mine and then back up again. And I was like, okay, well, let's do it. Not a problem. Let's go ahead and do it. And I remember on the way back up with some of the other people that I was with, that, it was a struggle, but it wasn't what I was used to, right? I had that right before I was like, yep, let's do this. In my back of my mind, I was remembering how something like that in the past, my heart would be just pounding and I would just be, breathing really, really heavy. And I just had all of these memories of what it would have been like before. I wouldn't have even attempted it before, but at some point, what that feeling would have been like. And this time it wasn't the same. I had a comment from my friend, we took a couple breaks, obviously, on the way up, and I was monitoring my heart rate and those kinds of things just to make sure I didn't get crazy. But I didn't have that pumping feeling. I wasn't breathing terribly hard as much as I used to. And I was just so grateful to say, wow, it has just been amazing to think that, how far I've come and what is next, right? Like it starts getting me thinking, like, what else can I do? Because I had this whole thought in my head. I'm like, oh, well, I still avoided some things, right? Because my mind is still catching back up to where I am. And so it is just what I love about this program is just what's next and just keep going after it. Thanks so much, Gina.
I love it, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing. And I love that visual of, I'm certain the previous Michelle, the past Michelle would have saw those steps and been terrified in front of others to have to walk down and up again. But now you can walk those confidently because you've taken your health and created something completely different. So we want to ask this poll real quick. Which areas of the trilogy of optimal health would you like to improve? You thought your answers through. So is it healthy body, healthy mind, or healthy finances? What is it for you? So you know what? People are going to notice you melting away. That just like my mama noticed with me and my friends and her friends, people will notice. And so you're going to have two options. Option number one is refer them to your coach, or option number two is to pay it forward. And so let's talk about these results.
So which areas of the trilogy of optimal health would you like to improve? healthy body, healthy mind, or healthy finances.
Wow, look at those results. It looks like a lot of you have just been awakened to the possibility that it's more than just getting a cute little body. It's really about the whole health. So, you know, some of the reasons why a lot of people decide to become a health coach is, you know, it's going to reinforce that decision to be healthy. It's going to allow you to make a difference in someone else's life. Guys, we have fun. It's very rewarding. Of course, the compensation to make a difference in those healthy finances, the currency of goodwill and fulfilling those needs. You know, initially, I remember coming in, helping a few people, and then talking to my mentorship and saying, hey, is this a possibility that I could actually keep the lights on, that I could actually help my husband in other areas of income and impact? And so knowing that helping others was going to make a difference, boom, I was all in, so excited. And of course, leaving a legacy, which our son shared with you all. You know, how a lot of people initially take advantage of this is becoming an Optavia coach, where they are helping others succeed and grow and really make a difference in their health. And really in that trilogy, but then they'll melt away and their friends are going to want to know. And pretty soon they are helping others. As you know, business leaders in Optavia, we are helping teams learn how to coach and support their clients. And as is, you know, a coach, ultimately, we're all helping and making a difference with others in their health. So we've asked Andrew to come on and share just a little bit of his story. So Andrew, I'm going to let you take it away.
Adam, Gina, thank you so much. This is a privilege for me to share my story, which I would start as my wife's story. When we lived in Florida, we were about to change windows to hurricane impact windows, because that's what happens sometimes during the year in Florida. And my wife wanted to get healthy. She's seen our friend just melt away before her eyes. And she said, I want to get healthy. At that point, I was met with this junction of making a decision about, I want to, change our windows so that way we have hurricane impact windows, or should we invest in my wife's health? So I brought this question to my wife, Tylena. I said, hey, love, what do you think? Would you choose for us to change our hurricane impact windows, or would you like for us to invest in your health? And of course, she said she wants us to invest in her health. And for me, I wanted my wife back, and she was at her heaviest. I was at the same time at my heaviest, but I wanted my wife to kind of, get on this journey. Well, she started Optavia, and in the space of 4 months, she's lost 40 pounds. And I was amazed at her result. I was skeptical about it, but I knew that looking at my friend just melt away gave me the confidence of, I think this can also happen for my wife. And I got on program. I got on program, and in 3 months, I'd already lost 40 pounds. In the space of 3 months, and I was feeling great. I was feeling good with myself. I was at probably the healthiest that I've been in a long while. And you probably can hear from my accent, I am from Nigeria, and lifting weights and all of those things, it's nothing. Culturally, we don't do that. We play out, we play soccer and all of that. So weightlifting wasn't my thing. But being on this journey with Optavia has taught me living in this zone of optimal health, and now living in the zone of ultra health, where move a healthy movement and eating well, and all of the habit stacking that Dr. A has just graciously taught us through the Habits of Health Transformation System, as well as the Life book, that has been pivotal for me. Well, while I was watching my wife lose weight and I was losing weight too, what I noticed, especially during the pandemic, so this was 2020 now, we are in Kansas City because I moved my family from Florida to Kansas City for me to help locally at a church as the outreach pastor. I noticed something about my wife. The way she was thinking was changing. I'm like, wait, she's been hanging out with this Gina lady. And the way she was thinking, so her emotional health was what she was growing emotionally. In her mind, she was growing, and that got me excited. I heard her over the phone speaking with clients, helping people get healthy. But there was one of this client that she was calling when the client said, I visited my doctors and they did my, vitals, and my doctor was curious as to what I've been doing. And I listened to my wife coach that lady, and I said, wait, if my wife is able to guide someone to health, I would love to do that. So that started sparking my interest to coach. I didn't start coaching until a friend of mine approached me and said, are you going to tell me? So he's part of our pastoral team. He said, Andrew, are you going to tell me what you were doing or not? I said, what are you talking about? He said, no, you've been losing weight. Are you going to tell me that? I said, you can go ask my wife. I'm good. You can go ask my wife. But he said, and then he guilted me this way. He said, I just did my grandpa's eulogy. He died of things that were preventable. Are you going to help me? So I'm like, oh, wow, you're good, guilting me. So I started coaching him. And I realized that because I was coaching my friend, that created another level of accountability. And then it just opened up this area of financial growth that I didn't see with this program, but I was watching my wife and I was looking at our finances and I'm like, things are getting better. My friend is getting healthy because he's a church planter. There were multiple people in his sphere of contact and they were getting healthy. So it became this thing of now looking back a few years now, I said, I was unhealthy before Optavia. I was at my heaviest. I couldn't stand for long. I was a minister, or I'm a minister. We would teach, we would stand, and I was winded most of the time. But as soon as I got my nutrition in place, I followed the system that Dr. A has provided. Now I would say, I have gained my wife. I have had spiritual rhythms that I didn't used to have prior to Optavia, and especially the soul management aspect of it. And Dr. A will call it the mind management, where in element 4, he deals a lot with how you think. That has been pivotal for me through my Optavia journey. And the byproduct of you taking care of yourself in your emotion, it shows up in your physical frame. And I'm the strongest that I've ever been, and I can go long. I don't need to go to the gymnasium. We have 2 kids, so I have to integrate my family based on how my health is. So it's been amazing for my family, for my wife, for my 2 little kids, and of course, as a young father, building a financial future that is sure, both for me, both for my families and generations to come. This has been some of the gains that I've, obtained in, being around the Optavia family. And of course, when you're around people of like minds, you get challenged. You get challenged to grow up. You get challenged, to come up to levels that you've not. And I've had friends during Optavia event. His name is Dominic. Kaden and I actually are friends with him. And he's like, hey, bro, are you going to do a competition with me? Just challenging me physically. He's like, let's go to the gym. Let's do this for this amount of time. So, I took that up, but the way that I've managed my health is in sync with my family, to be able to create a lifestyle that is conducive for the growth of my children and also to nurture my marriage relationship with my family. This has been incredible, incredible gains that Optavia has allowed me to create. So Gina, Adam, thank you so much for letting me share these things.
Yes, and I hope you guys are inspired. I hope you have come to this call and went, wow, there is so much more possible for me, for what we are trying to create. You know, this is ultimately a relationship model. This is ultimately a place where you can pay it forward and make a difference, but also make a difference in your own life. And so we want to encourage you guys and thank you all for being a part of this call tonight, for visiting with us, allowing us to give you a window in to what ultra health can look like. Because again, many of you came to this call curious about what this program looks like. And I hope that you are leaving with the hope. See, it's a health and hope night. The hope that all things are possible, that you can really pursue this, that there is a plan after the plan after the plan that is long-term, lifelong health that's going to take work. As a coach, these things don't just come to us easily. Magic dust didn't just pop up when we decided to become a coach and all of a sudden we are invincible. But no, we get the privilege of doing life with people like Michelle and Andrew and Caden, where we can make a difference together. And as a whole, we challenge each other to be better, to live better. I love how Michelle said to level up. And so your next steps is to reach out to the person who invited you to this webinar. Share with them your greatest takeaway from this call. Let them know, and then take action on that. Take action, whether that's join us as a coach, come play, come have fun, come make a difference in the world, or it's to take your health to the next level, to get more serious about your program, or maybe for some of you to go ahead and throw your heart over the line and get started on program today. Whatever it is, reach out to the person who invited you, because they invited you because they saw something amazing in you. They saw the potential of what Optavia, this vehicle, could be for you. So thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate all of you and have a wonderful evening.
At Optavia, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time.